and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone, I'm still here, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Whoa, I think we're here. 10 fingers. Are we actually here? Okay, I'm looking. I've turned the mic on this time. Oh, it's a bit loud. It's getting a bit screechy. I can see you getting to the red. I'll take it down a little. Echo? Jay, are you pulling my blonker? Have I got... Jeez. I never know when people are actually having a laugh or actually telling the truth, because I've got all of the sound turned off now, so I can only hear what's coming out of my mouth. I don't even know what's going into here or anything. Jeez, it's been emotional, I can tell you that. And I'm really gutted as well, really disappointed, because I think tonight may have been the very last live stream at 7 o'clock of the year, because the sun actually set at 6:53. Which was 7 minutes before the live stream started. But I went out anyway because I thought, okay, well, the sun will have set, but there'll still be enough light just to get a little flight. And where I was, I'll show you right now. This is where I was. Have a look at this. So I was here. I was at the Barony A-frame, all right? And I actually wanted to take Caledonia out and give her a little fly around, not just the frame itself, but some of the other areas, because I've done a lot of videos up there. So that's what the A-frame is, okay, and I'm proud to say it's the last remaining example of its type in Britain, not just in Scotland, but in the whole of Britain. It was restored in 2007 by the A-frame Trust. £1 million was spent refurbishing it. It's just a big hunk of metal. Where's the £1 million? Anyway, that was money for Historic Scotland, the Heritage Lottery Fund. And the A-frame was reopened by Prince Charles, the Duke of Rothesay, right back when he was the Prince and not the King. That's when I bopped him on the nose, when he was the Prince and not the King. Right, so that's where I was tonight. I was actually out there, and I did a little test before, I went live. I checked, everything looked as if it was running, set Caledonia up, she was connected, she looked good on the screen, did a little flight, yeah, it all looked fantastic. And then when it came to go live and I hit the live button, it came up with all these crazy YouTube messages. I couldn't understand them, and I didn't take any screenshots for any of you more technical people who may have been able to help. However, it just wouldn't work. Oh, Mark, thanks for becoming a member of the channel. I thought you already were a member. You're my main man, my admin. So where was I saying? I can't remember now. So all of these messages popped up and I don't know what went wrong. I knew I was connected to the internet because I was in the chat and I was still chatting, and I could see in my other screen, because I have two screens in the car, one said, waiting on Windswept Robert. I was shouting at the thing, I'm here, you're not waiting on me, I'm waiting on you. But I tried rebooting OBS, I tried rebooting the entire system, and when I reconnected, it still wouldn't do it. So I gave up, drove home, and thought, I'll test it out when I get back. So I did. I got back here to the studio, tested it out. It seemed to work, and that's why I'm on here at 9 o'clock. But unfortunately, I won't have the flight. I wouldn't be able to fly Caledonia. And next week, the sun will set even earlier. So I don't think I think that was probably the last live stream out in the out and about that I'll be doing this year, unless I bring them forward an hour and start the live stream at 6, which I know some of you are quite keen in me doing. So I may do that. Right, so and I'm not in a rush now because I don't have to wrap it all up dead on to the hour, because I don't have the Drone Seekers International starting in an hour where I have to finish. So I may go over just a little bit, or I may run under just a little bit, who knows. So I hope you can all understand my accent. I'm a wee bit excited, I suppose, because not excited, but my adrenaline's still pumping from the whole fiasco tonight. And also I've been working hard all day painting the new studio. So this is the last time I'll actually be in this studio. Broadcasting from the studio. I'm moving to my new studio, which I've been painting all day, and the reason I'm moving to a new studio is because I needed more room, because I'm going to be doing my podcasting from there too, and I'll talk about that in a bit. I'll talk about my podcasting because it is on my agenda, and I have my agenda somewhere here. I'll even bring it up and show you it. Why not? I'll show you my agenda. I haven't got much on it tonight. So my agenda was supposed to start off tonight with a flight at the bar in the A-frame, right? That didn't happen. But I've spoken about it and I've showed you the bar in the A-frame. And the final thing I'll talk about tonight is my podcasts, okay? But I've got a couple of things I want to talk about in between those two things, right? And it's the main topic of tonight. Is the Mini 4 Pro just a DJI cash grab? I think a lot of you probably feel this. I'm looking for this thing. I've got two covers. Okay, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of you probably feel the same way that I do, and I'll get to it. I'll get to it, and I've got a lot of different things to show you, and I'm going to slow down a bit here and just try to let the adrenaline just get a little bit relaxed. And while I'm doing that, I'll have a look at some of your comments, right? And it's not, how many have we got in? Let me see. I can actually, if I whiz through all of these screenshots that I'm going to show you in a wee while, I can actually see how many people I've got in the comments. Got in tonight, I think. 41, it says, I think. 41 watching now. And 12 likes. 12 likes out of 41 people. Okay, fair enough. I'll take that off. Right, so let me have a wee look through your comments. So Drone Shots was in here before the live stream started, and Maverick's drone is in South Africa at the moment. He's not here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. He's in South Africa at the moment watching. I take it that's the rugby you're watching there, aye, probably. Right, autistic drone. I'm not gonna put your comment off. I'm afraid. Okay. There, Jay has got me on the big screen. Thanks very much, that Jay. Now, Jay is actually broadcasting his own radio show at the moment. It's torbay.com. I believe I got that right, Jay. Torbay. I'll type it in here. Torbay. .com. I think that's it there. Did it pop up? It did. Jay's running a radio show, and it's his own programme tonight for 9 to 10. So I'm sorry I'm broadcasting at the same time as you, Jay. But what can you do? You know, when things collapse, you just have to sort of adapt and overcome. That's what I'm doing. Right. Okay. Modern Tech has worked this time. It's still in the 90s in Texas. Wow. It's not particularly cold here in Scotland, Scott. It's I'd say maybe between 10 and 20. No, it's not as high as 20. Maybe between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in your money. Probably about, I don't know, 50. I've got no idea what it is in your money. Right. Okay. So there's Boo. Hi all. Hi Boo, how you doing? Boo sent me a nice wee email just checking. Are you alright, Robert? Are you okay? After my fiasco of a crash. And I don't mean a car crash, I mean just a crash of the system. So thanks very much for thinking of me. That was nice of you. Right, so there's Paul is in. Hello, Paul. Stevie, hello. I don't know if you were in for the fiasco earlier on, Stevie, when it all fell to pieces round about me, but it did. Right, I'm zooming. Oh, there's Caroline. So hello, Caroline, and I'll just zip on as fast as I can and see if there's any name. Oh, Swanland, you three. Good evening from East Yorkshire. Good evening, Swanland. How you doing? Peter Mulder, okay, back again. Sound picture, okay. No echo. Okay. When I jumped onto the drone seekers there, Steve sent me a message with a wee link that I click on, and then I appeared on the thing. All I could hear was everyone talking at the same time, and they all were echoing everywhere. I think it was partially my end, but not completely my end, because once I had disconnected from the drone seekers and I came into my own studio, sorted out a few things and went back into the drone seekers just to listen, just to watch, they were having echo problems there. So I don't think it was entirely my fault when I went in there and was all echoey. Graham Lindsay, good to see you live, Robert. Hello again, everybody. Yeah, I know. I just wish I had managed to go live earlier and flown around the Barney frame. However, maybe in a couple of weeks' time, if I start going out at 6 o'clock, I'll be able to do that. Mark says, don't forget to hit that like button. That would be awfully nice of you if you did that. Hit that like button. It would be good. I don't know if it makes all that much difference, to be honest with you. I'm starting to be a bit sceptical of all of the advice and the tips that the YouTube gurus that come on to YouTube and make videos and tell you how to get a bigger audience and how to grow your channel. I'm a bit sceptical of all of their advice. It seems very counterintuitive, and a lot of the things that they say contradict each other, and a lot of the things that they're saying might have been valid a couple of years ago, but YouTube algorithm has changed and it doesn't operate in the same way. So give me a thumbs up anyway, but I'm not so sure that it does all that much these days, to be honest with you. I don't know. Right, okay, so Drone Adventures Ayrshire. Hi, Robert. Oh, Craig, there you go. Craig, you weren't called Drone Adventures Ayrshire before. You were called something else. This is my new YouTube channel. I'm actually live with you tonight for a change, not watching and catch up. Right, okay. I didn't think that's what you were. And if it's a new channel, then obviously that's what you're calling it there. Andy Bennington, hello. How you doing, Andy? Sorry about earlier on, but, you know, what can you do? PD Tech says, Dave Cullen, photography, nice one. Always a good feeling your videos are being watched. Aye. Dave apparently has 10,000 views with only 81 subscribers, which is a fairly good accomplishment. I'd say, Dave, well done. If you're getting 10,000 views with only 81 subscribers, it means that it means that there are lots of people watching your videos who aren't necessarily subscribing, but as soon as they watch one of your videos, it will come up, your next one will come up on their feed, and they're likely to click on it again. People seem to think that the best thing about YouTube, if you're a creator, the best thing about YouTube for you is subscribers. You want subscribers. Oh, I've got 100,000 subscribers. Look at me. I'm a big shot. That's not true. The best thing for me is creating a community like I think we have done. We've created a nice community here of like-minded people who are all pleasant, and there's very, very little, if any, nastiness in the community that we've created, and I really like that. But to grow a channel and to have a kind of successful channel, it's not about the subscribers, it's about the viewers, the people that come and watch who may not subscribe, and the length of time that they watch a video, because someone can click on a view and be off in 10 seconds, still counts as a view. Well, 30 seconds, it counts as a view, but if they're not watching it for any length of time, then that's no good. So anyway, I'm going off topic here, because I know I've got a bit more time than I normally do. Right, okay. Here, Jay has... Right, Mark, I'll say hello to you, Mark. Mark, I hate YouTube. It suddenly decided that I should be watching an advert and not your stream. Did it? Oh, man. I don't know why it's doing that now. I think you will get fed adverts at different times, and some of you might get adverts and some of you might not. And I think they're even what is it when you click off of them forget be skippable. I think they're even not non-skippable. I'll look into this my settings and see if I can change that. Not right now because I don't want to crash everything out again. But if I can change anything like that, because I don't mess about with the defaults, and YouTube may have put in defaults of showing ads. If I can go in on the next one and turn all of that off, I will do, because I don't want you being taken away from my very important monologue to see some advert for a car or something. Anyway, right. Derek Pask says hello. Haven't seen you in the live chat for quite a while, Derek. So hello. Hope you're doing okay. Good point, Mark. Mark says they just want you to subscribe to YouTube Premium. I think if you're subscribed to YouTube Premium, you don't get any ads. I don't know how that affects me, because I get paid a tiny amount for ads that are showing, so I don't know how that affects me. But anyway, PD Tech's a popular method to draw in an audience when making how to grow your channel type videos. Yeah, but I'm very sceptical of all of those now, especially when there's some guy on telling you how to earn £5,000 a week, and he's got like 3.4 thousand subscribers, which is a bit of a contradiction in what I just said. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic here, right? I don't want to. Michael Tapal says, just joined. Are you planning on buying the Mini 4? Right, I'll get back on topic now. Thanks, Michael, for bringing me back on there. Moonshine, how you doing? Above Us Only Sky. Right, I'll get back. I'll maybe get back to that one in a minute. But Michael brings me back onto my. Sorry, Paul. I didn't mean it. It's where was that, Michael? Was that one there? Are you planning on buying the Mini 4? What do you think of it? Right. Let me get to my main topic tonight. I've been watching a lot of videos with people who have bought the Mini 4 Pro, and some videos where people, I presume, have been just given the Mini 4 Pro. Although I don't pay them much attention, because if DJI sends you a drone, I don't believe you can be completely honest in your video. I think that you have an obligation to the company that sends you that, and maybe even pay you to be biased in their favour. And that's fair enough. Okay, it's what part of what YouTube's all about. Creators look for sponsorship, they look for deals, and to promote the products, they get paid, or they get the items or whatever. Maybe they have to show the products in a good light. That's fair enough. But I don't tend to pay them any mind when I'm considering whether I want to buy something or not. I would rather look at someone who has bought the Mini 4 Pro, for example, themselves, and is out testing the features in it. And I've done that with a lot of the creators that you're probably on your list as well, that you probably watch too. And my conclusion, I had some thoughts about looking at the specs of the Mini 4 before it was actually released. And I spoke about them before, and I'll speak about them again tonight. But I want to show you just a few of the thumbnails from some of the creators that I've been watching and that you're probably familiar with too. And I'll just show you the thumbnails. And so I hope my voice is still on when I show you this. Right, so there's one. That's Jevin Dovey, for everyone who doesn't know. All right. I think that's Drone X Factor. I think that's X Factor that did that one. There's another one, New Feature, and Crash, right? Watch that guy. Sorry, I really can't remember this guy, but he makes some fantastic. Oh, it's Billy Kyle. That's Billy Kyle there, right? So he crashed his. There's I forget what this guy's called. Is he German? The German fella. He's a good guy too. He crashed his, right. Right. So that's all I'll show you for the moment. But I do want to go to my. Oh my God! Right. So I'll come to this in a second. So a lot of the videos that I have watched with people testing the Mini 4 have crashed it, and it's always been while they've been doing an active track test. They have crashed it. The active track looks fantastic, 360. It's all around, and it looks great. I read quite a bit before it was released about the active track and how DJI had installed it, and I I was getting a bit twitchy about that. I thought, oh, I don't like the sound of that. And I'm sure you're all aware now, what they did is they changed the front sensors so they're now sloped slightly back. I don't know if, is there a picture of it? Wait, I'll see if I can just grab a quick picture of the DJI Mini 3. Mini 4 Pro, sorry. Aye, there. Look, have a look at that one there, right? This is, I think that's X Factor's. So you can see it. So in the Mini 3 Pro, the front sensors are facing straight ahead, very strong. And in the Mini 4 Pro, they're at an angle and they're slight. And this allows, with the back ones, this allows the 360 up to the side. You know, it allows the 360 obstacle avoidance. But I thought at the time, I'm not convinced that they will be overlapping properly to the side, first of all, to give you 360. I think, by the looks of it there, I can't see that those front sensors are getting 180 degrees and the back ones are getting 180 degrees, and they need more than that to actually provide you with 360 degrees coverage. And I was also worried that if they're pointing out to the side, they're not going to be focused as strongly on the front, and the same with the back. And it turns out that twitchiness that I had appears to be exactly the problem, and the reason that the Mini 4 Pro is crashing a lot of the time, not just when flying sideways, but when flying forwards or backwards, it's crashing a lot more than the Mini 3 Pro. And Jay put in the Discord, I think it was earlier today, I'm not sure when it was, Jay. Today at 20 to 6, Jay put quite a long post in my Discord server, which I'm going to show you now. Right, I'll read it out as well for anyone who's listening and not watching. Jay said, I've been out with a friend of mine this afternoon who's just bought a Mini 4 Pro. I wasn't impressed, to be honest. It felt sluggish to fly in comparison to the Mini 3 Pro. The obstacle avoidance does work on the sides, but it still has blind spots to the left and right. Also, we noticed that its forward sensors were not as accurate as the Mini 3 Pros. Looking at this little Mini 4 Pro, I see that the side sensors are actually built into the front sensors. In a frog light setup, having the sensors splayed out to the side but still facing forward. Perhaps this is the reason why the forward sensors are not as reliable. Now that's exactly what I thought when I was reading the spec and looking at the pre-release pictures. So Jay goes on to say, when flying it, I didn't fully trust the drone in tight spaces. And then Jay goes on to talk a little bit more about some other aspects of the drone that he doesn't particularly like. But I kind of wanted to focus on the obstacle avoidance and the 360 degree all round, because that I think that is probably the main selling point of the Mini 4 Pro, because we have always said, and I'm even guilty of this too, of saying, wouldn't it be nice if we had side sensors so that when you're flying sideways, look at me going sideways, that's when you're likely to crash, because you can't see what's at the side. No, you can, I'll come to that in a minute. You can't see what's at the side of you. You can only see what's at front and the rear. So we all wanted, or certainly I wanted, side sensors, right? Now that we have side sensors on the Mini 4 Pro all around, it's not actually working, you know. And if you can't trust it to work, you can't use it. You know what I mean? There's no point in using it if you can't trust it. It's no better than a Mini 2 with no obstacle avoidance, because it has no sensors at all. You're always going to be second guessing yourself. And particularly when you've seen the number, if you haven't seen them yet, go ahead and look at the videos and you'll see the number of people that have crashed this drone due to it colliding with an obstacle when the obstacle avoidance sensors just haven't worked at all. So that's the main selling point of the Mini 4 Pro, and it doesn't work. Or it doesn't. No, it doesn't work, because if it doesn't work 100% of the time, then it doesn't work at all. You can't rely on it. You can't use it if you can't trust that it's going to work. Okay. Now the second biggest selling point with the Mini 4 Pro, I would say, and I could be wrong, I would say it's the fact that it has built-in waypoints, okay? Which waypoints are fantastic. For any of you who haven't used waypoints when flying your drone, you're missing out. They are absolutely great fun. What I like about flying with waypoints is that if you pick a specific program like Litchi or DroneLink, you can sit at your computer with a big screen and plan your flight in advance, fly the flight virtually, and then once you're happy, you can make all the tweaks and change everything until you're absolutely happy with that flight. You can then go out and just launch it, and it will automatically fly that flight that you have pre-programmed, that you have taken your time to plan and make sure you've got everything right. It's fantastic. I love that. Now, I don't know if you can pre-plan your flights with the Mini 4 Pro, if you can sit down and do that on your computer, but I haven't seen anyone saying that you can, so therefore I have to assume that you can't. And the way it would work is you go out into the field like Maven, and you would plot your waypoints when you're out in the field and then let it fly. And that's, that's okay, but it's not as good as sitting down to do it. So my point here is that if that is the second biggest selling point in the Mini 4 Pro, you can already do that with the Mini 2, and the Mini 3 Pro, but going back as far as the Mini 2, you can do that with. I have flown waypoint missions numerous times and I've created numerous videos about that with Lassie, my DJI Mini 2. I've got a wee croakiness coming on here. I'm going to have a wee drink. Excuse me. Just to wet my throat. So, it may be all very well having waypoints on your Mini 4 Pro, but that's no reason to buy it, because you can already do that on the Mini 2 and the Mini 3 Pro if you use an RC-N1 or an RC Pro controller. So that can't be a massive selling point. Now, the other selling point for the Mini 4 Pro, and I'm not too clued up on this, is it takes better pictures. I think that's it. It takes better pictures. Does it? I don't really know. Is that a selling point, really? If you're a professional and you want to get fantastic pictures, then a mini drones, you shouldn't be using a mini drone anyway. You should probably go in for one of the Mavic type drones to get pictures. So is that really a selling point for a Mini 3, a mini drone, a Mini 4? I don't think so. So having said all of that in mind, I can't see any reason why anyone would want to spend the money on a Mini 4 Pro if you already have a Mini 2 or a Mini 3 Pro, unless you are so wealthy that you just want to buy every DJI drone that there is, and every time a new one comes out you're going to buy it, then that's fair enough. But if you're looking to upgrade from a Mini 3 Pro or even a Mini 2, then I don't think the Mini 4 Pro is an upgrade that's worth the money that they're spending on it. And in fact, I don't think it's worth it even if it was the same price as a Mini 2, because the feature, the main feature, the obstacle avoidance, is so unreliable that you only anyone in their right mind would use it as often as they use the obstacle avoidance on the Mini 2, which is never. Okay, so that's what I think about the Mini 3 Pro. The Mini 4 Pro, right? My advice is don't buy it if you have a Mini 2 or a Mini 3 Pro, right? You'll be frustrated, annoyed, and you'll crash it, especially if you're relying on the obstacle avoidance, okay? It's going to frustrate you, the waypoints, because the waypoints in the Mini 2 and the Mini 3 Pro using Litchi or DroneLink are better. Okay, right? And if you want to take better photos, get yourself, I don't know, an Air 3. No, I don't even know if Air 3 takes better pictures, but certainly the Mavic 3 series does. Now, okay, here's the thing. There are some other bad points, not just about the Mini 4 Pro. It's a different subject, I suppose, right? And it's this whole, you're probably aware, this whole big discussion that's going on about the 120-metre limit that is being imposed, or is it, right? I'll talk about that next after I have a wee look through some of your comments. Okay. So I'll just see what anybody had to say. Anything, right? I'll look at the anyone who's highlighted my name in orange. I'll be clicking on your posts. Gerard McGlinchey says the Mini 3 is better. I don't know if the Mini 3 is better, Gerard. The Mini 3 Pro is a perfectly good drone, and I can't give you my 100% recommendation because I don't have a Mini 4 Pro. I can only go on what I've read, what I've seen, and my gut instinct. Okay, and those things are telling me if you have a Mini 3 Pro, don't sell it for a Mini 4 Pro. Don't. You'll regret it. Okay. Mini 3, I'm not so sure about that. Mark says, join Windswept Robert's Discord out there. Thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, that's the Discord channel. You can join if you like, and we can get some more conversation going once this chat is finished. If you want to continue the chat, or if you want to pop in, there's video chats there, audio chats and text chats there. You can do all of that, and it won't cost you anything. You can go there and do it. You've got all the announcements for upcoming things that I'm planning on doing with the channel. Paul says, makes sense why people are crashing the Mini 4 Pro. Yeah, this is it. I don't think that the creators that I've been watching rely at any time on obstacle avoidance, but they tested it. Of course, they tested it for us, for everyone, for their audience, and thank all of them that they did, because now we know that it's rubbish. Now we know that the obstacle avoidance is no good, and if anyone is buying it thinking that they can rely on the obstacle avoidance to avoid obstacles, you're just going to crash your drone. Okay, looking through for any more that have... Yeah, here's Jay has said, my mate did write this drone off today due to the sensor issue. Also, no point carrying on if drones are restricted to 120 metres. What if you're flying up a mountain hill or building? I'll come to that in just a minute, Jay. You're exactly right. And I want to come to that because there's a lot of controversy about that at the moment. So I will speak about it. Now, there's a lot of comments here, but I'm flicking through them and I'm only going to click on the ones that have put at Windswept Robert, because that it highlights for me and I can see those. And Dave did that here. So, Edward Hines, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for your sub. Dave says, I have had a few MP3 images published in the press. Quality is more than acceptable for the standards. You're absolutely right, Dave. The Mini 3 Pro, even the Mini 2 takes some nice photos as well. The Mini 3 Pro's photos are fantastic too. And if you're looking to do photos from a Mini, the Mini 3 Pro is fantastic. There you go. Dave's just said it. He's had images from his Mini 3 Pro published in the press, right? You don't need a Mini 4 Pro for that. Okay, scrolling on to... Oh, hold on. Peter Mannering. Peter says, Windswept Robert, optical avoidance should be treated... Optical? Do you mean obstacle avoidance? Obstacle avoidance should be treated as a safety feature, but people are abusing it. Your car has ABS and seatbelts, but you drive it on ice into a wall and see how good it is. Yeah, it is a safety feature. And the other thing, Peter, is even if the obstacle avoidance is working perfectly well, as it does on the Mini 3 Pro, and I've tested it many a time, it works great, it still can't see tiny wee branches or tiny wee wires or fishing line hanging over bridges and things like that. So in the winter, if you're flying through trees and there's tiny little branches, even the Mini 3 Pro is not going to see those. So obstacle avoidance is theoretically very good. And it would be good if it worked 100% reliably, but it just doesn't. There is an alternative, right? In fact, before I talk about the 120 metre thing, I do want to show the alternative to the obstacle avoidance sensors. And this is fantastic, right? I love this. and it's making me make a decision about my next drone. And I'm going to show you a tiny little bit of a video, and I haven't asked this fellow's permission to play his video, but I'm pretty sure he'll be okay with it. So I'm not going to play much of it. I'm just going to play a tiny little bit of it, and then I think I took some screenies. If not, I'll zip on and show you what I'm talking about. Right, so a lot of you probably follow this guy. This is Billy Kyle, right? And here is the video that I'm just going to be showing you a little bit of right now. There it is in the chat. So let me play a little bit of this of Billy's video. Just a wee bit.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. What's going on, guys? Billy here, and I had to jump on here to discuss my new favorite feature in the Mavic 3.
Right, sorry, I'll just leave it there because. Did you hear? Could you hear Billy's video there? Oh, I think I had it. Sorry, I had the desktop audio muted. Right, let me play just the first wee bit of Billy's video again, and I'll put the audio on this time because I'm an idiot. Right, if I go there, the audio should be on now. Let me play this wee bit of Billy's video again.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. What's going on, guys? Billy here, and I had to jump on here to discuss.
No sound again. Can you still not hear? All right, I don't know what's wrong with that. Right, okay, I'll put the mic up to Billy, right? Because I do want you to hear this, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it on my mic.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. What's going on, guys? Billy here, and I had to jump on here to discuss my new favorite feature in the Mavic 3 series of drones. It's called Vision Assist and was just recently added in the newest firmware update. I actually made a
Can you
full
hear that
video of all the
okay?
changes that was introduced in that update. It was fairly large, so I'll leave that linked up in the top corner as well as down in the description. But by far, my favorite change, my favorite feature added is this Vision Assist functionality that really has changed the way that I fly drones. Now, one of the most popular type...
Right, I'm just going to leave it there because, as I said, oh, I've lost my cursor again. As I said, I didn't reach out to Billy and ask his permission to play that video. I didn't have time. I ran out of time. I'm sure Billy will be okay with it. But what I would much rather you do is, rather than me play Billy's video and you watch it, I'd rather you go to Billy's channel and watch it yourself, right? But Billy's talking about in this video, and he shows you all the recent introduction from DJI on the Mavic series of drones, the Mavic 3 series of drones, only the Mavic 3, but all of the Mavic 3, the Classic, the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 3 Pro, is Vision Assist, right? And Vision Assist is, I'll see if I can flick onto a part of it, Billy's, and just give you a static shot of it working. It's unbelievable. You won't believe this. If you haven't seen this before, you're going to be blown away. Come on, where are you, Billy? I did take a screenshot of this earlier, but because everything went all to rats, I don't have it anymore. Here's one here. I think that's a screenshot there. Give me a wee sec. Okay. Now, I'll bring this up and just show you. It's a still, but I'll talk you through what it is. So Billy here is on the boat, right? And he has his Mavic 3, I think it's a Mavic 3 Pro he's flying here. He has it out and it's flying along parallel with the boat, so it's flying sideways. Now, rather than rely on the sensors, if you look down here at where the map used to be, you can switch the map over, and that is a camera. Right, the sensors act as cameras. So that is a camera from the left side of the drone. So I'll just play this wee bit. There might not be any sound. Right, so look, as Billy, did you see that as the boat flies along to the side? I'll just mute Billy now. As the boat as the drone flies sideways, look at the picture here. It's going forward, showing you there are no obstacles, and if there are, you can avoid them, right? Isn't that? And you can switch to any of these views, forwards, backwards, or to the right. So that beats, for me anyway, that beats obstacle avoidance hands down, because that is 100% reliable. If you're flying the drone side, if you're flying having to get my mum a drone here, if you're flying your drone sideways and you can actually see, you can flick a camera to see what's there in the bottom corner of your screen. While you have two cameras. One camera is actually recording your footage, and the other camera is showing you the direction that you're flying and seeing if there's any obstacles. That beats obstacle avoidance hands down, and that one feature is convincing me that I need to buy a Mavic 3 rather than a Mini 4 Pro or any mini drone. So that's not the only reason. The only reason, and I'll move off of that subject now, right? And I will reach out to Billy and say thanks for allowing for I used his video even though he didn't let me, and I apologise if he didn't want me to. But I want to move on now and speak about another reason why I don't think the mini drones are the future for anyone. And it's this whole controversy that's happening at the moment, excuse me, over the 120 metres maximum height. Now, that's awful loud. It looks as if it's going into the crackling bit there every now and again, and I hope I'm not crackling too much. Turn it down just a little bit. Now, there are two sides to this discussion at the moment, right? One is the way you've always been restricted to 120 metres by the regulations. Although the drone can allow you to set the maximum height to 500 metres, you can legally only fly to 120 metres above ground level. Right, we know that, so that if you're flying up a hill, you can go, and I've done it myself many times. Whenever I go to the cairn table, I fly way above 120 metres, but not above the ground. I'm always lower than 120 metres above the ground, but you have to increase the height that you fly at, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get up the hill. So the two arguments that I'm seeing at the moment on all of the drone-related channels and forums and groups and things like that are, there's this one argument that things are as they were. DJI actually, they imposed a 120 limit on the screen where you could not go to 500, you could only go to 120. Now it seems that they have, for the UK, they have taken that away, and you can now go back up to 500 metres. But that's only until the 1st of January, or 2024, or possibly the 1st of January 2026, depending on how the CAA decide to follow the EASA or the European regulations, right? But that doesn't stop DJI from putting in the 120 limit, no matter what the CAA say, because they're the manufacturer of the drone and they can do what they like. So I've got a couple of things to show you here regarding that. I got an email in from Paul Taylor. I think it was either today or yesterday, a couple of days ago. I'm not quite sure, Paul. Paul sent me an email. I get hundreds and hundreds of emails and messages and things every day, so sometimes I miss a lot of them. Right, but Paul sent this email and then he reminded me today that he'd sent me it, so I had a look at it. And he actually contacted DJI and asked them specifically 2 questions. And DJI replied with specific answers to those 2 specific questions. So here's what Paul's questions to DJI were, right? First of all, he asked, will this new 120 metre maximum height limit only be for the newer mini-series drones, such as the Mini 4 Pro, 3 Pro, 3 and 2 SE? DJ's reply was no, it will be all of the mini drones, including the original Mavic Mini and the Mini 2 through firmware updates. Paul also asked, will this new 120 metres maximum height limit affect us mini flyers in the UK as we are not in the EU? And DJI's reply was yes, the limit will cover the UK as it is in the European continent. Okay, so there's that. Now, that's bad news for all us mini drone flyers, right? But it doesn't end there, because here was a specific question that was asked in the DJI chat support forum. And the question was, will the ESA restriction include the UK? We have different drone laws to the EU. And the answer that came direct from DJI was, the new European drone regulation does not cover the UK. But as the CAA in the UK does have the same 120 metre limit as the EU, the limit will include the UK for units that weigh less than 250 grams. Right, no, I don't like the sound of that. In accordance with the same European drone regulation, all other currently available drones of the DJI Mini series, that's the Mini 2 SE, Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro, will be restricted to an altitude limit of 120 metres later this year via a DJI firmware update. Customers of the above named currently available DJI Mini series drones will be able to apply retroactively for C0 class identification labels in the fourth quarter of this year. So what DJI are saying there, whoop, hello, sweater vest. What DJI are saying is, at the end of this year, i.e. the 1st of January 2024, these restrictions will be in place for the UK, which means that I'm knackered. I can't fly almost anywhere in here without going up a hill. I have to be able to fly up above 120. I have to be able to set my maximum height limit above 120 metres. Otherwise, I'll only be able to go halfway up a hill. Unless I do what Paul also sent me in his email. It also included a couple of wee diagrams, which I'm going to show you now. Thanks for the diagrams, Paul. Paul said maybe you can tweak them and use different diagrams or better ones, but I quite like Paul's, although they do need a bit of explanation, right? So here's the first diagram that Paul included in his email, right? So here we are. You're standing at the bottom of your hill, right? And the height of the cliff top from the bottom is 178 metres, right? Okay, and you want to fly up above it, say 10 metres above it, okay? From the 1st of January 24, you won't be able to do that because you'll only be able to fly up to 120 metres and then you're stuck. You can't go above that. You will not be able to set your drone to go above that, so you're knackered. You can only fly up to there. Now, if there's a nice wee feature up here, like a statue or a plinth or a monument or something, or a castle, you can't fly. You won't be able to fly up and see it. Okay. What you're going to have to do, and Paul's second diagram shows this, is you're going to have to go up to the top, because then you can fly down and fly back up, right up to the top, and get your footage, right? But it means climbing up the top of this hill before you actually launch your drone. Now, there's sweater vest again. I keep hitting the wrong button. What time are we at? 21:47. It's getting close to my bedtime, so that's why I'm getting a bit in the brain. Right, so here's the thing. What DJI said was, now, this is probably going to have to be asked again and have to be clarified by DJI. And if you're going to be asking the CAA for clarification, and the person that generally does that is Sean from Geeks Vanna, I'm not going to pay that any heed, because how many times have the CAA said one thing and it's been at the opposite And how many times have they said one thing 1 minute and changed their minds the next minute? So I've got no faith in anything the CAA have to say. I'm only really concerned now with what DJI do, because it's their software, and if they impose a 120 limit on how you can fly, not like the CAA's imposition by the regulations, you're only allowed to fly 120 metres. We could go above that. But if DJI impose a hard 120 metres limit, and they have said here, there's another one here, another wee clip that says, if you look at this, it's the same one as I showed you before, but if you look at the top of this, it says it cannot be increased in any scenario, right? And there's a link there that shows you, right? So if they impose that 120 metre limit that you can set in your drone, it cannot be increased in any scenario. Now, what DJI said, and where we will need clarification, is this part here. And this is what I'm a bit worried about. It says for units that weigh less than 250 grams. Okay, so my question here, and I'm not going to ask DJI because I'll just go on and do what I can when I can, and when I can't, I'll find an alternative. Graham, thanks very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. I'll find an alternative way of doing what it is what I need to do. But and my alternative will be, if this is an imposition only on the mini drones, I'm going to get myself a Mavic 3. Not just for the imposition on mini drones, the height limit restriction. If it's not on the Mavic drones, that means I can fly up that big hill with a Mavic 3. And also, you've got that visual assistance. What was it called? I forget what Billy called it now. The visual. Come on, where is Billy's? I've got so many different things have been flashing up on this screen. Trying to find them's a nightmare. Vision Assist, DJI Vision Assist, that Billy says. And don't forget, go and have a watch of Billy's video, right? It's a fantastic video. And I'm quite sure a lot of you will be thinking, if you haven't bought a Mini 4 Pro yet, but you're thinking about buying it, you might think, oh, well, I'll just hang on, put a wee bit of extra, maybe Christmas money coming up, maybe some Christmas gift money, put that towards it and get myself a Mavic, because I said in a previous video, and I stand by this, the CAA are going to start imposing massive restrictions on the mini drones that mean you are as restricted with a mini drone as you are with a heavier drone. So there will be no reason whatsoever to buy a mini drone. So if you haven't bought a Mini 4 Pro yet and you were thinking about buying it, hold on. Just hold on, right? I know many people are afflicted with FOMO, fear of missing out, but don't let that affliction get a grip of you, and don't let it spend £1,000 of your money, right? Just don't do that. Jay, thanks very much for your super chat there. Jay says, going back to something that you spoke about in the Discord server, it would be great to have some podcast about Scottish myths and legends. The spookier the better. I love scary, spooky Scottish tales. Jay, thanks for that comment and bringing me back on track, and thanks for the super chat too. Okay, so the final thing on my agenda was, and I'll bring my agenda up just to show you, if you remember way back when who else shows you their actual agenda? And I don't have a script, but who else shows you their agenda and what they're going to be talking about? Only me. Right, so I am going to be talking about podcasts after the Billy Kyle thing and after the Mini 4 Pro. I was going to talk about podcasts. So Jay has nicely led me to talk about the podcast. But before I do that, I'll just... and there's Jay's super chat just popped up. Thanks very much for that, Jay. I do appreciate it. Right. Before I get to the podcast thing, I just want to finish off the Mini 4 Pro by just asking you, if you have not bought a Mini 4 Pro yet, but you were anticipating buying one, you were going to buy one, or you were seriously considering buying one, what are your thoughts now? Are you still intent on buying a Mini 4 Pro? If you have bought one recently, I know that you don't want to admit that you might have made a mistake, but do you have buyer's regret? And if so, are you still within your 28 days that you bought it, that you can return it? You're allowed to return an item within 28 days, particularly because the obstacle avoidance, although it's 360, it doesn't work. It's been shown by almost everyone that it doesn't work the way it's been advertised to work. So therefore, if you have bought your drone within 28 days, you can return it, okay, and get your money back. Is that something that you consider doing as well? Right. And I'll read your comments later on, because I'm not going to run over too much, and I do want to move on to the whole thing about podcasts. I want to tell you what it is about. If you're unaware of what I'm doing, in the Discord, and I think I put up a wee short video about it to announce that I'm going to be starting doing a weekly podcast, because quite a lot of the people that watch my videos, and particularly watch the live stream, say that they'll listen to the live stream while they're doing something else, driving or going for a walk, taking the dogs out, or pardon me, or in a bath or whatever, and they listen to it, but they think sometimes when you flick over to a screen and you're talking about something, I can't see it. It would be nice to have just a podcast that I could just listen to. So I've taken that on board, and I am going to be doing a weekly podcast. And it's going to be drone related in a way, right? But I did ask for anyone, if anyone would like to give me some feedback on what they would find as an interesting topic and an interesting subject for me to talk about, and that would mean that they would like to return and listen on a weekly basis. They would listen every single Friday that I bring it out, a podcast where a topic's interesting. And the overwhelming subject that people asked me to talk about was just what Jay has said in his super chat there. And if I can bring it back up, I'll bring it back up. Jay said, it would be great to have some podcasts about Scottish myths and legends. The spookier, the better. I love scary, spooky Scottish tales. Well, Jay, you're not the only one. The overwhelming number of people who replied asking for a particular topic have asked for exactly that. So it does tie in with drones, and it ties in this way. What I'll be doing is, starting on Halloween, October the 31st, I will be making my first podcast, and it will be a true tale of a Scottish ghost, a haunted place, and I have a whole list of them. So I will be focusing each week on a haunted place in Scotland and telling you the tale of how it became haunted, who's haunting it, who has sighted it, I think stuff like that. And there will be an accompanying video that goes out probably on the following day, the Saturday, of the place, of the location. I'll do a fly around the location. If I can get inside and do some some filming in there, I'll do that too. And that will be an accompanying video, so that if you're walking your dog, if you're driving somewhere, if you're on a can, if you're in a bath, if you're somewhere that you can't actually watch the podcast, because it will be a video podcast, I will be sitting in my new studio, which is painted darkly, and I'm decorating it now to sit in it and tell you the tales of the Scottish myths and legends of hauntings and ghostly doings. You can watch it. There won't be any other screens that I'll be flicking to show you, because it will really be just for an audio podcast, although I'll be sitting there, so you can watch if you like. But if you can't watch, you can listen to it. And then later on, when you have a chance to sit down in front of a screen, you can watch the accompanying video, which will then be about the location. It won't go into the depth of the hauntings or the spookiness, but it will show you the area, the surroundings, and the place itself. So, as I said, my first one, I intend hopefully to have it for Halloween, October the 31st, and then I'll be doing it at 8 p.m, maybe 9 p.m, I haven't decided yet. Maybe 12 p.m, who knows, or 12 a.m. I don't know. It'll probably be 8, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. It will be every Friday night. Now, the podcast might last for 10 minutes, it might last for half an hour, it might last for an hour. I have no idea. I'm not setting a time limit on it. I'm just going to tell you the tale, and it'll take as long as it takes. Okay, so that's the podcast. I have put up a little video, very short video on my channel, I think, about it, and a very short video on my Discord server about it too. So that's what it is I'm going to be doing starting the 31st. And I'm thinking to myself, how have I got the time to actually add something to this channel? I don't have enough time to do videos in a live stream as it is, but I have managed to find some time to do this podcast. So that's what's going to be happening starting Halloween. I hope everyone's happy with that. And if you're not interested in it and you don't want to watch the podcast, fair enough. You may be interested in the accompanying video, which will be a drone fly around of the area. And you may find that interesting too. And I'll try it out for... the first season is going to be 6 episodes, so it'll be 6 episodes of spooky haunting tales of places in Scotland. 6 episodes of that. Season 2 may be something different, a different topic. Season 3 may be a different topic too. And it depends. The seasons will continue as long as there's an audience, right? If I don't have an audience, then there'll only be one season of the podcast. But if I have an audience that are interested in the second season, then the season will continue as long as there's an audience. Okay, so that's it. So I'll finish up by just having a quick look through your chats. Paul says that Mini 2 all the way and use drone hacks to get around the 120 limit. Mini 2 is a terrific drone. I love Lassie, and I always will, and she never lets me down. So yeah, I would say that's right. Or there you go, as Jay says with the podcast, or listen while broadcasting. You could even broadcast part of it out. We'll talk about that. Right, so there you go. Get Ken Heron on your podcast one day. Well, I don't know. I actually have a guest lined up for the end of season. There will be 7 episodes, and there'll be 6 stories, 6 tales, and then the 7th episode will be a guest. And I already have my guest lined up for season 1 of the podcast. A fantastic guest who's going to bring everything, the other 6 episodes together. And I don't want to give anything away, but you're going to absolutely love the 7th episode, which won't be a tale or a story, but you'll love my guest. Okay, so thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for coming along and tuning in after the debacle at 7 o'clock tonight. I hopefully will have everything together again, and I may publish or go live at 6 o'clock next week, depending if I decide to go out. If the weather's nice and I'm going out, it'll probably be 6 o'clock so that I can catch a bit of the light. If the weather's bad, it will be 7 o'clock in the studio, probably in the new studio. Okay, so thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for everyone who gave me a super chat. Thanks for everyone who gave me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week.